Apple Notes is a fantastic note-taking app. You'll buy the iPhone, you'll buy the MacBook, and then you'll see, hey, Apple Notes is already installed in there. You start to use it and you realize it's very easy to use. It supports any attachment type that syncs across all your devices. And it's pretty versatile while also being very simple, and it gets out of your way. And then you accumulate this massive library of Apple Notes until you want to export your entire library of thousands of notes, and then that's where you'll realize that, hey, they got you. Hello everyone, my name is Constantine, and today I'm going to show you how to use my free app, Apple Notes Exporter, to export all of your Apple Notes in bulk into a multitude of formats. This could be things like HTML, PDF, to Markdown for things like Obsidian and other Markdown Notes apps, to Doc and ODT for Microsoft Word and things like LibreOffice or OpenOffice respectively, as well as apps like Evernote via Enix, Evernote's Exchange format. My app supports all of these export formats and more, can do incremental syncs, has CLI and MCP support, and is 100% free and open source. Without further ado, let's go to the Mac and I'll show you how to use it. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do to use the Apple Notes Exporter is go to the Apple Notes Exporter page on GitHub. We're going to be looking for the releases page. So if you go to the main page, you'll find releases over on the right sidebar. The latest as of this video is version 2.0 build 2, and this just has some bug fixes as well as the new formats. You'll click that release, or you'll go to the direct link that I'll have in the video description, and what you want to download, what you want to click, is going to be the Apple Notes Exporter v2.0-2.zip file. So this is the actual app that you can download and use. Make sure you don't click the source code, because you won't be able to run that directly without building it first. So go ahead and just download that zip file. You can go ahead and click that, and it will automatically extract, and you'll see the Apple Notes Exporter app. And you can either drag this to your Applications folder, or you can run it directly out of the Downloads folder or wherever you have it saved. It doesn't matter. Before I double click this, we need to make sure that you have App Store and Identified Developers set up as a source in your system settings. So go to System Settings or System Preferences, and then on this left-hand sidebar, you'll scroll down to Privacy and Security. Scroll down to the bottom of this screen, and you'll find an option, Allow Applications From. You want to make sure that this is set to App Store and Identified or Known Developers. So I'm a known developer, but because this is coming from my GitHub page and not the App Store, you want to make sure that this is set to App Store and Known Developers. That way you're actually able to open it. So after confirming that, you can go back to wherever you have the app saved and double click that. If this is the first time you're running the app, which it probably is, you're going to get this pop-up saying Apple Notes Exporter is an app downloaded from the internet. You're going to be sure you want to open it. Hit open. And you're going to get the license pop-up as well as a full disk access pop-up. So you need to enable full disk access for Apple Notes Exporter. That way it can actually read your Apple Notes database. It interacts directly with your Apple Notes database, so you have to grant this permission if you want to be able to use the app. So we'll do that first. Open Settings. And I'll open the full disk access page directly in System Settings. If it doesn't, or if you click out of it or can't find it, you're going to find this as well under Privacy and Security on the left. And then in this list of permissions, there will be an entry for full disk access. Click that. And then you should see something for Apple Notes Exporter in this list. If you don't, like we don't here, hit the plus at the bottom of this list in the left corner here. Use your password or Touch ID. And then find where you have Apple Notes Exporter saved. Click it, and then hit open. And then you can hit quit or reopen, or you can hit later. And you just want to make sure that that entry for Apple Notes Exporter is checked on the right, or switched on the right. So because we've done that, we can close this. And now you'll see we don't even have to quit and reopen. Apple Notes Exporter reacted, and it says granted on this line here for the full disk access permission. So by default, this will not be checked, but you just want to check by using Apple Notes Exporter, I hereby agree to the above license terms. So we've acknowledged this, we can hit continue. And by default, it's going to select all notes from all accounts. So we can hit select. And then in this, you can see these are all my Apple Notes folders. But you can click into these folders and expand them to select and drill down. If you want to only export one note, you can also do that and just deselect all and then only select the job that you wanted. But in this case, I'm just going to select everything. You can just hit done when you're done there. And then you can choose an export format. So for this initial export, I'm going to show it to you in PDF format. We're all familiar with PDF. It's very stable and it prints very well, so we'll do that first. And I'm not going to do an incremental sync, and I am going to include attachments, and we will add the ISO date to the file name. Then I'm also going to choose a new folder to export this into. So on the desktop, I'm going to create a new folder, notes, export, example, hit create. And then once you're in that folder here, you can select the folder and then hit export. So it's going to start and it's going to run through. It's usually pretty quick. It all depends on how many attachments you have. For the notes that have a lot of attachments, it will take a little while. So this is just about 5 seconds left here. Of course, that's as inaccurate as most estimates usually are, but here it is, all finished. And we're going to have a look at this output folder. You can either find it where you put it, or you can hit open output folder and it will open that export folder directly. So in iCloud, if I go into the YouTube folder, you'll see now we have the ISO date pre-appended to the file name, as well as those 3 notes that I was talking about. So if I open this PDF, we're going to see the script and the notes that I went off of to make this video, and this is all going to be styled that respects the default styling of Apple Notes. So you can see we have our title text here, heading, and then body text. Then scrolling down further, all of the page breaks and new lines, everything is handled correctly. If I go back to Apple Notes Explorer, if you're international or if you want a different format, you can hit the options button here, and you have the option of choosing a different font family, a different margin, a different font size. You can disable embedding of attachments, and you can choose different sizes of paper. And then here's an example of what the attachments will look like. So this here is a brochure for an office building. If I open that, you'll see it'll have a little card or entry for the attached PDF file. Now, of course, you can't attach a PDF into a PDF, at least not without breaking compatibility with most PDF viewers. You might be able to do it with something like a PDF portfolio for Adobe software only, but I digress. So we'll see that attachment reference here, and this is named 3650 South Yosemite Brochure. We'll find a folder with that name with paren attachments at the end, and then in there we'll find the same named PDF. If we open that, this here is that brochure, this is that attached PDF file. And it'll work the same for images and other types of attachments. Now let's do an export in Markdown. So Markdown, export. So now that that's all done, let's look at the Markdown exports. So if I find that same Bootstrap Hub script and I preview this, you'll see that this is in Markdown format, and you can edit it in any Markdown editor, including Obsidian. So if I open Obsidian, if I go and import this, and the way you would do that with your Obsidian vault is you'll open the vault, and you'll just drag your Markdown files into it. I'll just screw it and copy this entire YouTube folder in. You go back to Obsidian, and now you'll see those notes pop up. So there you have it. This is my app, Apple Notes Explorer, free, open source, available to download now. That's how you use it for just a couple export formats. It has all of these options. You can go and you can play around, and you can even do things like incremental syncs, where it only overwrites the files that were changed and removes notes that you've deleted, keeping a folder in sync with what you have inside of Apple Notes as a source of truth. This concludes the tutorial. Thanks so much for watching until the end. I hope you found the video useful. In the coming Apple Notes Explorer videos, I'm going to show you how to use the command line interface, as well as the MCP or Model Context Protocol. That way you can have agents like Claude interact with your Apple Notes library directly. I left those out of this video because that might be out of the scope of most casual users, which is what this is intended for. But stay tuned and get subscribed if you want to see how to use those features in future tutorials. Other than Apple Notes Explorer and my programming projects, on this channel I also do a mix of car and motorcycle repair and driving content, as well as other life stories, so please subscribe if that's something you're interested in. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.